Sunshine.
Yeah. It's supposed to rain over here today.
What's that?
It's supposed to rain over here today.
No, where are you at?
I'm near Albany, New York.
Oh yeah, wholly different ball game there, huh?
Yeah, like 45 minutes away from Massachusetts and 45 minutes from Vermont.
Oh wow! All right.
Yeah, it's recording now.
All right.
Hello, everyone. I'm here with Deron McBee, who played Motaro in the film Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Deron, let me be the first of many fans to say thank you for doing this interview.
My pleasure. Glad we finally got to make it happen, huh, Brian?
Yeah. Busy. Working like a dog.
Yeah.
Okay. I believe the first question would be, how did you land the role of Motaro?
Yeah, so that was kind of interesting. Of course, my agent goes through what's called the breakdowns, and every movie that starts producing movies ahead of time, they start looking for certain kinds of characters. And so they were looking, obviously, for this character Motaro, and they needed somebody that was big, and they wanted somebody tall that would be imposing, and that also had martial arts background. And so they put me out for it. And initially, I was just doing an acting interview where they just, tried to see if I could handle the dialogue and, how I would create this character and stuff. And so there was a process of 5 interviews that I went through. And the last 2 were basically martial arts interviews where they were trying to see what my athletic ability was, my martial arts ability was. And finally, then I booked a job. It was amazing. I was super, super stoked when they gave me the green light for that one.
What style of martial arts did you study?
Oh, different types. I've done Wing Chun, Kung Fu, Kempo Karate, regular boxing, things like that. But really, my background is just looking at different styles that I see and mimicking them, and practicing in the gym and stuff. So really, the athleticism that I've had growing up, it was helped in my martial arts ability. So I'm really more of somebody who copies these great guys and makes it look fantastic on film. But in real life, I'm not like a true pure martial artist in the fullest sense of that word.
Yeah, not like say Robin Shou or
right.
JJ Perry.
Exactly. Yeah, those guys are absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Did you know about who Motaro was before you did the audition?
Yeah, so I obviously knew about the game Mortal Kombat because that was like sweeping the nation. That was like the hottest game of that time. And yes, I'd heard that Motaro was this crazy character that everybody's having a hard time beating. So it was like, if you can beat Motaro, then you've like totally aced the game kind of thing. So that's about all I knew about Motaro, but I was really stoked to play it because the character was going to be, they were going to be using a lot of CGI, which is computer graphic animation on the character. So that made it even more fun for me to book that part.
Yeah, because it looks like the tail is completely CGI. Because when I was looking at
some parts.
Yeah, because when I was looking at some of the publicity scenes, like the behind the scenes shots, like with you and Martine and
right.
I didn't see the tail at all, so it was probably
some parts they CGI'd in, but they actually had a practical tail that was at least 15, 20 feet long that was articulated by a puppet master. So it was really cool. So they could really make that tail move. Like one scene when I was in the firehouse and I was talking to one of the gals, not Margine, but the other one, I can't think of her name, but Musetta. So I was talking to her and you see my tail swishing around in the background. That was all practical stuff. It was a real tail that they were using.
Yeah, like probably talking about like the your tenure upon the worm pile seems to be
yes. That's the scene.
Now your failure will be my opportunity.
My victory. Yeah. Yeah, I love that scene. I mean, that was my favorite scene. I had great dialogue, and I had a lot of fun with it. So we had fun, and it's funny because in the end of that scene, she slaps me across the face, and both my daughters were really, really young when they were watching that scene, and they kept saying, "Daddy, why'd you let her hit you? And why'd she slap you?" I said, "Honey, it wasn't real, and it was, totally pretend." And so I showed them, and they just felt so relieved. They go around telling all their friends, "Yeah, Daddy didn't really get hit by her," and all that. So it was pretty cute.
Yeah, I bet they were like, "Oh."
Yeah, of course. They want their daddy to get hurt.
Yeah. What was the makeup and prosthetics process like?
So yeah, so I would get there every day, typically about 4 hours ahead of everybody, and I would be in makeup. Usually in the morning, it would take about 6.5 hours or so in the morning to put the makeup and the prosthetics on, and it all depended on what scenes they were shooting, about how much they would be putting on me. But it would take about 6.5 hours, and then once it was all on, I think we talked a little bit about it before, where I really couldn't do anything but sit straight up in a chair, because if I leaned back, it would ruin the back prosthetic. If I put my elbows down the table, it would ruin the elbow prosthetic. So I was basically having to either stand all that time or sit and not move. So it was not the most comfortable prosthetic as far as me getting any rest when I was on set.
Yeah, because they wanted to make sure that everything matched and continuity wise.
Yep, exactly.
Um, what was it like filming your scenes?
Say again?
What was it like filming your scenes?
Well, it was fun. I mean, there were different aspects of everything. I mean, one problem I had was the horns that I was wearing. They had them like a spring loaded on my head, so they were hitting me right in the temple, and sometimes I'd get these wicked bad headaches. So I'd be constantly like lifting up one side of my horns and lifting up the other side of the horns, so I'd get a little pressure off my head. But it was giving me pretty bad headaches. But filming most of the scenes was just totally fun. I loved the actors and actors that I got to work with. Everybody was really friendly, and I just had so much fun with the people that were involved in prosthetic work themselves, the makeup artists, and they were just geniuses. And they've gone on to do some major movies since then. So yeah, it was an awesome experience all the way around. I loved it. I loved every minute of my time working on that show.
Mm. Do you still play any of the games?
No, but I got a lot of pictures from people all over the world that sent me different pictures of Motaro. So they're all over my room, which is really cool. I did see the new Mortal Kombat movie. I enjoyed that. I thought they did a really nice job on that. Took a different direction and made it a little more serious, a little more obvious, a little more bloody.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that movie.
Were there supposed to be more scenes involving Motaro?
So yeah, that's a good question. Because we got towards the end of filming and they were running under budget, even though the movie at that time was a $71 million budget, which was huge, late 90s. But yeah, there was supposed to be a scene when I was fighting Jax, and they had like Roman pillars behind me, and I'd be sweeping my tail at him and missing him, and then literally taking exploding pillars off the ground. And the fight was supposed to go on for in like 5 minutes, almost like a Godzilla versus King Kong kind of fight. And we got a lot. I mean, we got a lot done in the fight. It was really a cool fight, but they didn't get to really show how cool Motaro really was and the power of Motaro like they wanted to in that, which was kind of disappointing. But like I said, they just ran out of money towards the end.
What are your thoughts about them taking Motaro and turning him into a Minotaur in the game Mortal Kombat Armageddon?
Oh, I even wasn't even aware they did that. So he's a Minotaur now? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, in Mortal Kombat Armageddon, they turned him into a Minotaur because Shiva placed a curse on the centaurs, making them all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I wasn't aware of that, so I didn't go that deep into the Mortal Kombat lore, but that's interesting that you said that.
Mm. Yeah, I can actually show you a picture later on of what he looks like in that game.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. Sounds cool.
Let's see here. What do you like the most about being a part of the Mortal Kombat franchise?
Well, I mean, to me, it's an honor because that's, a game that's going on for what, how many years now? 30, 40 years almost. I mean, it's a franchise that everybody knows about. It's one of the most recognizable franchises and brands in the world. So it's not just a game for the United States. It's well known across, the entire world, which is amazing. So to me, to be able to get a part in that was just one of the greatest honors of my life. So I feel, like I said, I feel totally blessed and super thankful that I got to be a part of it. And I still am. I'm still honored by it.
Mm. Yeah, do you have any props or scripts from the movie?
No, unfortunately, I had my the cool teeth that I had. I had those with me, and I had the original script that I had. But when I moved, somehow or other, they got lost in transit, and I was super bummed. But so yeah, I was hoping to have that because I really wanted to frame it at some point and put it up. But no, I lost it along the way, unfortunately.
Mm.
Because the neat thing about the script was it was another 13 pages long than what the movie showed. So the nice part of the script is it actually played out the whole fight scene with me and Jackson, talked about how that went, and it just made the movie make a whole lot more sense instead of having it cut out the way that it did.
Yeah, and yeah, some of the fans were wondering if Cabal and Stryker would have made an like an actual physical appearance in it.
Yeah. I don't. In that script, it didn't show that. It didn't show either one of those names. So, but again, they put a lot of people in that. They try to jam pack it full of characters. And in some ways, I think they were trying to be a little bit too ambitious by putting too many characters in there. And I think if they would have maybe kept a couple of them out and focused more on my character, which was supposed to be like one of the main bad guys, I think it would have been done the film a lot more justice than it did. They just tried. I think, like I said, I think they're just trying to be too ambitious and put too much in there.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, according to the Mortal Kombat 3 story, Motaro was actually the General Shao Kahn's armies. And
Yeah.
led the extermination squads.
Yeah. Right. That's
so
correct.
They changed that a bit, so that it would be more different differentiate from the games.
Right. Exactly.
Kind of like their own take on the whole events that happened. Well,
So, can you say that again?
so that it would give their take on the events that happened in
Oh yeah.
Because it was like a mix of Mortal Kombat 2 and Mortal Kombat 3.
So are you talking about adding the characters back into those? Is that what you're saying, or no?
No, I said it was kind of, the storyline was kind of like a mix of Mortal Kombat 2 and Mortal Kombat 3.
Oh yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, we as actors, we don't have any, choice to what we have to say about it, but they had a ton of great stuff in there. I mean, I think that movie could have been a huge blockbusting hit. It came out #1 in the box office. But had they stuck to, like I said, a few less characters and added a few more cool scenes with Motaro, I think the movie would have really, really killed it in the box office.
Yeah, showing how his skin is reflective to all projectiles and stuff like that.
Right.
But that would have been expensive.
Right.
Because of the CGI wasn't up to par with what you can do nowadays.
Oh yeah, I mean back then. I mean, you got to remember back then that was state of the art. There was nothing better than what was on that movie. And so my character was costing the production $1 million a minute every time I was on screen, which is a lot of money for one guy. But now obviously they can do everything. Like, for instance, my hair, I wanted my hair to be down in that movie. I thought it was really cool if my hair was down. It looked more animalistic, more vicious. But they couldn't CGI hair, so we had to keep it back and put it in what's called a plait, which they just braided it and put this little cool device on the end of my hair to make it look like a weapon kind of deal. But yeah, there's a lot of things they're doing now with CGI that they couldn't do back then.
Yeah, like that's another thing about that was different from the games, like Motaro's look, because he had like kind of like a mohawk.
Right. Yeah, I've seen different things. I've seen Motaro with totally bald head. He did nothing at all. But I mean, when someone takes what's called creative license, I like that. If it adds to the film, I mean, to me, like I said, if my character had long hair, it would have been a really wicked looking character on screen. And I think it would have made it, that much more fun. But they did. I think the reason why they didn't go bald is because Shao Kahn was bald, and so they didn't want the exact same look.
Yeah, and make like with him with the long hair would make him look like the centaurs of Greek mythology.
Exactly. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's about it.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad, Brian, I'm so glad you and I finally made this happen, man. I appreciate your patience with me, and I'm just really thankful. Well, I've been super blessed and thankful for all the fans out there that have been such, great followers and become friends and send me these amazing art. And I think that's one of the most exciting parts about it is just having great fans and friends and people like you, Brian, that we stay in contact with.
Yeah, because if it wasn't for us fans, they wouldn't be NetherRealm Studios wouldn't be working on Mortal Kombat 12.
No, it's literally, it's the fans that make it. I mean, it's the people that enjoy the movies that make the movies possible. And what drives me crazy is, you get these actors that are stuck up and they don't want to sign autographs or they don't want to address their fans. And to me, I'm just disgusted with people like that because they wouldn't have a paycheck, they wouldn't have a house, they wouldn't have a car, if it wasn't for people that basically went to the movies. So yeah, again, I'm just super thankful for that.
Yeah. And what have you been doing since Mortal Kombat Annihilation?
Oh gosh, man, that's a lot. Well, several things. I've, worked on about 4 or 5 different movies. I worked on an episode called Curb Your Enthusiasm, which I really love doing. A lot of TV shows. I booked throughout my career, about 20, almost 22 national commercials, at an international commercial. So that was going really well. And then also what I do is I'm also a drug and alcohol counselor. So I work with people that are addicted to drugs and have gone through different parts, struggles in their life. So I really helping with them. And also I right now I'm working in a gym as a personal trainer, which I really love to do. I used to do that back in the late 80s. So when COVID hit, obviously the movie industry kind of went south. It wasn't, hiring people, but I decided, hey, I'll become a personal trainer again. So I'm really enjoying that. And that's kind of what I've been doing. But as far as movie business, we just literally shot a trailer for an upcoming movie that we're trying to get financing for right now, which will be an amazing action thriller called Instruments of Justice. I'll be able to tell you more about that as time goes on, because I'm sure we'll be in touch. And I just shot we're actually working on now a TV show that I get to play a father in, which is really weird because I never get to play like a normal person in any of my movies and TV stuff. So it's really, really fun. So that's what's going on. And then there's a huge ESPN documentary that I just finished working on that should be released sometime end of summer, maybe early 2023. It's a retrospective on this huge show called American Gladiators, which I was one of the original stars of that show. So
Yeah,
that's going to be coming out, and that's obviously going to give me a lot of publicity, and it's going to be a really well done documentary.
yeah. Let's hope Lynn is also willing to do that documentary too.
I'm sorry, you got a plane flying over my head right now. So could you just say that one more time? Maybe I'll be able to hear it this time. It's actually a helicopter. Go ahead.
I said, hopefully Lynn will be participating in it as well.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I'm pretty sure that he got a good part in it, because it was one of the days I was interviewing. He was also interviewing. So I'm pretty sure he's going to have his own little vignette, which is cool. I really, really like him. He's a good friend of mine, and he's a really good person all the way around as well.
I heard that he took a he's now living the life of a clergyman.
Yeah. It's interesting because, we had a couple really fun, spirited debates on religious issues when we were in Thailand together, and I just love that guy. He's a very spiritual person, and he's very committed to what he believes in, and I just love him as a brother and as a friend as well.
And you mentioned that you're a drug and alcohol counselor. I wanted to let you know that I've been alcohol free for the past like 8 years, and I didn't go to any AA meetings or anything like that. I quit cold turkey, and sure, I get tempted, but I said to myself, it's not worth going down that road again.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, literally in the last 2 months, I've had 2 of my friends that I've worked with get, buried because they relapsed and went back into using again. And it's a really sad thing. And one of my buddies, Matthew, just was killed in a motorcycle accident this past week, where he kind of left his church fellowship and he started using again, and he took his motorcycle out and unfortunately was killed. And then, so that's one of those things. But you're asking me, about what I did in between. And I've had so many injuries in my life over the years: a broken neck, and I broke my back, and broken ribs and toes, and, on and on and on, herniated discs in my back. And I'd stayed away from painkillers forever. When I got to be about 42, well, I think it was 40, no, it was 45. I finally gave in, and to a doctor, one of the 4 or 5 doctors that kept trying to get me to take OxyContin, and I kept saying no, but I finally said yes, and unfortunately, I became very addicted to it very quickly. So that's a big reason. I mean, that took a good 5 years out of my life right there, and by the grace of God, I've been sober now for 4 years, and my life's never been better. But I just decided to take what I learned and what I've been through to help other people. So that's how I ended up being a drug and alcohol counselor.
Yeah. When I was recovering from getting my appendix removed in 2011, I was prescribed morphine and as a painkiller. And after the was gone, I said to myself, I'm not keeping these, and I'm flushing them down the toilet because I don't want to develop a fix to it and have that.
Right.
And so that's what I did. I took the bottle, empty it right in the toilet, flush the toilet.
Good for you. I wish I would have done that.
Yeah. I don't smoke. I live a drug-free life.
Good. Me too. I don't smoke, vape, drink, nothing. I mean, I'm pretty pure. I even eat really healthy, and I'm back in the gym now, training harder than ever, which is really exciting. I'm getting myself, so my goal is to get back into shape like I was when I was doing Motaro. And so that's my goal right now at 50 plus years old. And I'm super excited about it. And I feel wonderful. And, you know how it is once you finally clean yourself off from a drug or alcohol, you just start realizing how important life is and how much you were losing and how much better you feel now that your body's clean, right?
Right.
So anyways, that's part of what's going on. But as I was saying, my buddy passed away. I actually needed to his funeral's today, so I kind of got to get moving in that direction.
Okay. Let
Which
me
I'm
hit
not
stop.
excited about going on, but
Let me hit stop on the recording.